Hello friends, welcome to the fifth week of the 3 months data analytics roadmap. And this week we are going to start Power BI data analytics, and in the past 4 weeks we studied MS Excel data analytics in very detail. So Power BI is also a Microsoft tool that we can use for a variety of functions, and the first function that it is being used for is the data visualizations. We can create different types of charts, dashboards and so on. But along with data visualizations, it can also be used for data cleaning and transformation, and we can also use it for data modeling to create a model or a complete database along with primary keys and foreign keys to build connections and relationships among tables. So without any further ado, let's begin. First of all, you need to download Power BI desktop from internet. I'll give you the link in the video description. When you open Power BI desktop, this is the interface that you will see. Here on the left side you can see 3 views. The first one is called a report view, the second one is table view, and the third one is model view. We are going to see these 3 views later on in this video. On the right side you can see 3 different sections. The first section is the data section. Currently we do not have any data here because we have not imported anything. The second one is the most important one, which is visualizations. These are the different types of visuals or charts that we can use for building our reports or visualizations. The third one is filters section. We can add filters to the page or to different visuals from this section. So let me close them because we are going to see them later on. On top you can see different menus like file menu, home, insert, modeling, view, optimize and help. You can use these menus and tabs for performing different tasks like we have used it in MS Excel and other tools. The most important thing here is the get data section because it lets you get data from a variety of data sources. Let me click on get data. You can see that we can import data from Excel workbook, Power BI data sets, data flows, Dataverse, SQL Server and a variety of sources. We can also click on more to see more data sources, and here we have ton of data sources that we can use for importing our data. We can also use different data sources in one report and we can connect them in one model. So in this tutorial, in this video, we are going to click on folder because I have files listed in this folder. In week 5 Excel files, I have 7 files and each file corresponds to a different table. Like the first one is employees, the second one is expense types, the third one is expenses, meals, properties, sales and states. So these are the 7 files of hotel management system. We are going to import all of these files and work on them in today's video. So let me click on folder, click connect. Now it asks for the path. We can go directly to the folder. Click here, copy the path from here and go to Power BI and paste the path here. This is one way of doing this, or we can click on browse, go to the same path that we saw before. It's on desktop. In week 5 we have Excel files. So if I click OK, we will have the same path here. Let's click OK and import the files. So after clicking OK, we are seeing this window. It says that there are 7 files. Do you want to combine them? Do you want to load this, or do you want to transform data? It's usually a good practice to transform data before importing it to Power BI. Even if you do not transform data, still it's better to click on transform data to check the overall data types, its characteristics, and if you have missing values or other stuff, you can clean the data and transform it from here. So let's click on transform data. After I clicked transform data, it opens the Power Query editor that you can see on top left side of this window. Now we have 2 windows open of Power BI. The left one is the Power BI itself and the right one is the Power Query editor. In this editor we can clean the data, we can transform the data, and we can perform a ton of operations from here. So as we have 7 files here, if I click on this binary, it will open the file for me. But before clicking on the binary, let me duplicate this Excel file 7 times because we have 7 different files. So let me quickly click on duplicate 7 times to duplicate this. Now on the left side you can see that I duplicated this 7 times because we have 7 files. So let me click on the first one and click on the first binary, which is employees.xlsx. If I click this binary, it opens 2 tables. The first one is the employees table and the second one is table 2. The second table is also employees table, but it was transformed by the Power Query editor itself. So if I click the first one, that is employees, we will see the clean file without any transformation. But if I click the second one, it will have a little bit of transformations. So let me click the second one because it was transformed for us. So let me click the second table. Now we can see that it has 4 columns. The first one is ID. Its type is text. You can see on the left side of ID. Name is also text. Email is also text, and property ID is also text. So it means it has 4 columns and all of them are texts. On the right side you have the name of this table. It is currently Excel files. Let me rename this to employees. Click enter, and now we have it employees on the left side as well. In applied steps section, you will see all the steps that are performed on this table in the Power Query editor. So in the source, it brought the file to the Power Query editor, then it navigated and then imported Excel workbook, and now we open the table 2 table. So if I do other transformations to this table, all the steps will be recorded here, and we can go and delete steps if we don't want. We can rename these steps so we understand what we have done, or we can repeat the steps as well. So currently the table looks good for me, but to show you the transformations, I want to split this name column into 2 pieces, first name and last name. So let me click this table, and on top of the Power Query editor you can see the tabs. We have transform tab, add column, view and others. Currently we need the transform tab. If I click on transform, in this section we see split column. Let me click split column, and we want to split this column by a delimiter. We can see that in the name section we have first name, then a space and then a second name. So we can use the space as a delimiter to split this column into 2 pieces. So let me click by delimiter, and this window pops up. So it automatically selects space. If we have other delimiters like a comma, colon, equal sign, semicolon, other things, we can select it from here. But currently, because we know that it is a space as a delimiter, so let me select space. Now it says split at leftmost delimiter. If we have a space at the leftmost side, at the rightmost side, or we say that each occurrence of the delimiter, we should split the column in that occurrence. So if we have space in the middle, in the left and the right, we need to split it. We understand that we have space in the middle of the name. So let me select each occurrence of the delimiter. Let me click OK. I want you to focus on the applied steps section as well, because it will add another step here. Let me click OK. And now it says that we added 2 steps here, split column by delimiter, and another step was change the type. Because it splitted the column by a delimiter, then it added 2 columns for first name and last name, and then it detected the data type of each one and changed the type to text. We can rename this. Let me right click on this split and rename it. We can say that split name to first name and last name. So we understand that what we have done here. Now if you look at the headers of the first name and last name, it says name.1 and name.2. Let's rename each one of them. So let me double click on name.1 and say this is first name. Press enter, insert a step here. Okay, renamed column. Let me double click on name.to. It is last name. Enter. Insert this step. So now we have first name and last name. Another thing that I want to do here to transform this employees table, I want to fetch the initials of first name and last name and combine them together. For example, the first name of the first record is John and the last name is Smith, so it's John Smith. I want to fetch J and S and add it to another column. So this will be a custom column that we will be creating. We cannot do it automatically, but we will do it using a script. So let me go to add column section on top, and here we have custom column, we have conditional column, we have index column, and we have duplicate column, and etc. Currently we need this custom column section because we want to insert a script. Let me click on custom column, and it says, do you want to insert a step? Yes, insert here. So first of all, let's give it a name. The name will be name initials, and here we need to add the script of Power Query Editor. Power Query Editor uses M code, which is a different code that is used by Power BI or Power Query Editor. Remember that Power Query Editor is also included in MS Excel, and it is available in Power BI as well. So we can use the M code or Power Query Editor code to insert custom scripts and insert custom columns. Currently we need the first character of first name and the first character of last name, and then we need to combine them into one. So we have text dot combine. So if I write text, it lists all the functions that we can use. I want to use this combine function. Combine function combines two different texts or multiple different texts into one. So because we are combining the first character of first name and the first character of last name together, we can use the combine function. So if I open parentheses, it asks for texts as a list. So we can provide different texts together as a list. So for providing it a list, we need to open curly brace and close curly brace and close this function. So inside this curly braces, we need to provide the list of items or the list of texts that we want this combine function to combine it into one. So the first thing I need to get is the first character of first name. How to get the first character of first name? We have another function that is text.start. If I come down, we have this text.start. So let me press tab, open parentheses, and here it asks for text. So the text that I want to pass to the start function is the first name. So it is first name. Let me click this, and then comma. Here it asks for how many characters or count of characters we need to pass to this function, so it can fetch it from that first name. We want only the first character, so we want only one character, and I passed it. Let me close this function. This text.start first name function will get the first character from first name and will pass it to this list of text.combine. So let me add a comma because we need to pass the first character of the last name as well. Let's repeat this step. Text.start, open parentheses, and this time I need to pass it last name. Let me click last name here, and comma. I want only one character from last name, close parentheses, and that's it. Now this script is complete. It says that there are no syntax errors. Let me click OK. If I click OK, it will add another column, name initials, and it will add the initial characters of first name and last name. We can see for John Smith, it added J and S, and for Sarah Johnson, it added SJ. So we successfully added another column to this table. I think this is enough for the employees table transformation. Let's click on Excel files too. And the second table we have here is expense types. Let me click on binary, click on the second table. So it looks good, it doesn't have any problems. Let's rename this only to expense types. press enter, go to Excel files. So I performed the steps very quickly and I repeated them for every table. Now that we have all the data transformed, let's go to home, click on close and apply and close and apply. Close and apply means that I want the changes to be applied to these tables, and then I want to close this Power Query editor. Let me click close and apply. Now it's going to load all the tables with the steps applied. You can see on my screen that it loaded all the tables, and we can see all the tables to the right of the data section. We can see them here. Now let's see these three views. The first one, which is a report view, we use this view for adding visualizations and creating dashboards. We can create dashboards using different pages here. The second view is a table view. If I click this, it will show us the tables. You can see the tables on the right. If I click any table, that table will be shown here. Remember that we can transform our data from this section as well. Let's double check everything. Everything looks good in the employees table. Let's go to expense types. It's good. Expenses, it's fine. So let me click this date column. Okay, we can see that the data type is text. It's a problem, so let's modify this. Let me click here and convert this to a date data type. Okay, yes, change this. Now it changed the type to the date, and now we can see that it also changed its format. So let me click this date again, go to column tools. In format section we can change the format. So I like this day, month and year. Let me click on this one and it will change the format of this. Okay, that's looking good. Now we change this to date, and we can see that it added a date hierarchy as well. We can use this date hierarchy in our reports later on. So let me close expenses, click on meals, it's okay. Click on properties, it looks very good. Okay, click on sales. Okay, let me click on date because I doubt this now. Okay, it's already date. Let's just change the format, change it to day, month, year. And I also want to change this amount format. So let me click on this, change the data type to whole number. Okay, change it, yes. I also want to add a comma separator between thousands. Yes, so it's looking very good now. Let me close sales, click on states, and it looks good. So all things good now. Let's move on to the model view and build the relationships. Let's minimize these. Okay, we can see that tables are not connected with each other, so we need to connect them. Let me minimize this. Let me zoom this out so we can see all the tables. Okay, let's add these here first. Let's arrange them. Meals here. Okay, then we have expenses. Let's bring properties to the bottom. Okay, here. Let's add sales in the middle, and let's add states to the right. So we are kind of building the star schema. Remember, in star schema we add fact table in the middle and the dimension tables around the fact table, like this. Not like this sometimes, but let's think that this is a star schema. Okay, now let's add relationships. In employee tables we have property ID, so let me drag the ID from properties and add it to property ID. It will build a relationship between these two tables, and you can see that the relationship from one to many is added here. Let's check for expenses. We have property ID here as well and expense type as well. So let me add property ID to property ID here, and we have expense types. So let me remember that there is a problem, we need to address that. The problem is that in expense type we have added the name of the expense, not the ID. So that's a problem. Let's build the relationship now. I'll later on correct that. So let me add name here. Okay, that relationship is added. Okay, we have meal ID here in the sales. So let me drag ID from meal to meal ID here. Okay, that's done. That is added. Then we have state ID in properties. So let's bring ID from states and add it to the state ID here. This is also connected. So one thing is left, that is property ID. Let me drag property ID and add it to this sales table. So I think we can kind of done this. Okay, I don't think anything is left. Let me zoom this in and we can see that all the tables are connected with each other. Remember that this modeling is very important for creating visualizations, because if you do not connect your tables, then you will not be able to filter tables and you will not be able to design an interactive dashboard. For designing interactive dashboards, this is very important to connect all the tables together. If you do not connect them and you want to filter one table or a visual, if you click there and filter it out, then it will filter based on one table only, because it is not connected to all the tables. This thing we did in MS Excel as well, where we connected charts with slicers. Here, if we do not connect these tables, you will have the same problem. It will not affect all the visuals. So that is very key and very important. Let's now move on to the report view. Here in the report view, we will create visualizations in the next week. For this week, it is enough. We imported our data, we transformed the data, cleaned it, then we changed the types and the data types and the formats, and then we created the model from different tables. We connected them together, we added the relationships, and now it's time for creating our report or visualization. So we will do that in the next week. Thanks for watching. See you in the next week.